All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here and for joining us. I'm Kelly McCarthy. I'm the Senior Conference Producer for IECSC. This webinar is a Know Before You Go event, which is basically a quick orientation preparing you for IBS New York and IECSC New York. So that is your first takeaway. If you're new to attending this event, for the price of one show, you're attending two amazing international shows, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Before we jump into the agenda, I just want to let everyone know that this event is being recorded and will be shared with new registrants in the future. We're going to have a short Q&A after our presentation, so please feel free to put your questions in the chat as they occur to you, and we'll try and kind of organize those and either answer them after our presentation or via the chat as we're moving through. So I'm going to advance to the agenda slide now, but I want you to feel free to put a greeting in the chat if you want to engage with each other. You're welcome to add your name, your business name, or where you'll be joining us from. We would love to learn a little bit about you. So as you can see, we're going to cover a lot in the next 40 minutes. We'll discuss the basics of preparing for your trip, what to expect on site regarding registration and navigating the convention center. We'll talk about the show app, and we'll highlight some additional opportunities for you to get the full show experience, such as where to find stages and how to take advantage of the education that we're offering. Finally, we'll cover ways to engage with the show and with each other before we close out with your questions. In case I forget to say it later, and I hope I don't, I just want to start by thanking you so much for joining us. We know you have a lot of options when it comes to the events that you attend and the education that you consume and how you spend your money for professional development. So thank you for choosing IBS New York and IECSC New York. We are so excited for this and so happy you'll be with us. So let's talk pre-show prep. Elizabeth Trevorrow is the event and partnership director for our spa and our beauty shows, and she's going to kick us off with her travel, packing, and pre-show recommendations. Elizabeth, thanks for joining me. So what do our friends need to do before they get on site with us?
Thanks, Kelly, and hello and welcome everybody. I'm so excited to see you in New York shortly. Looking at the comments, a lot of you are in that tri-state area, so you know the weather can be sketchy, right? So layering is key. We're keeping fingers crossed for, great show weather, which means it's not too beautiful outside because then you'd want to be outside. It's you want to be inside the Javits, but it's easy to get there. We're not going to have snow, not too much rain, but layering is key. It can be warm on the show floor at times, but then cooler in some of those corridor areas or in the classrooms. Also, comfy shoes. There's going to be a lot of walking. We've got two big expo floors, and a lot of the classrooms are a little bit of a trek if you've been there before. You know what I'm talking about. So please, if you wear some really fancy shoes, maybe tuck another pair in your bag that you can throw on later in the day. Please, if you're traveling at all, leave room in your suitcases for purchases. A lot of those wet line, purchases can't be brought onto the plane with you if you're flying in. So leave room in your checked bags to bring your purchases back. We also do have a coat check in two locations at the Javits. So we don't allow rolling bags on the floor. But if you want to go ahead and check your purchases, you can do that. There are going to be food courts or food cafes on both of the show floors. And bars. We always love our bars on the show floor. So, and then know that there's food and bars on the floor, but then also the Javits has a number of food options in their food courts. And so you can lean into that. We don't want you to leave the building, but there's some restaurants in that close by. And then housing considerations. Some of the hotels are within walking distance in our room blocks. Some of them are a little bit farther away. So just allow for, time to get to the Javits. You can certainly Uber. There's always taxis lined up outside that main entrance. We don't provide shuttles from our room blocks, so just know that, but many of them are within walking distance.
Great advice. Thanks, Elizabeth. And I will just add to that, if you have like a travel coffee mug and a travel water bottle, bring those with you as well. So you can stay properly hydrated and caffeinated and save a little money along the way. So
Yeah.
upon arriving at the Jacob Javits Convention Center, the first thing you're going to do is negotiate registration. So Elizabeth, give us some pro tips on how to make that fast and easy.
Yeah, well, we did offer a VIP and premium pass, and we'll be talking about the access for those a little bit later in this webinar. But one of the things is please arrive early. If you don't have your badge mailed to you, if you didn't register before March 1st, your badge will not be mailed to you. But if you let's go back to if you get your badge in the mail, once you get on site in that lower concourse, we're going to have where you can just grab a lanyard and go. So super simple. That's kind of where the taxis come in, that lower level. So just, it's kind of a grab and go process. If you don't have your badge, once you get on site, go up to the Crystal Court area, Crystal Palace, and just queue into the lines. Any of those representatives can assist you, no matter if you registered via the spa side, IECSC, or the beauty side, IBS. Any of them can assist you. They'll go ahead and print your badge and then give you your lanyard right there. So it should be pretty quick. There is registration assistance on either side of registration, of the main registration. So if you need assistance, just look for the banners up top. They're pretty large and identify where you need to go. But that's where you would go if you need assistance with anything. And then please remember that no one under 15, even infants, they're not allowed on the show floor. It's due to insurance regulations. Unfortunately, we just can't have anybody under the age of 15 on the show floor. So we've included the registration hours as well as the show hours on this site, on this slide. And I think, Kelly, is this where we do want to talk about VIP and premium pass holders?
I think they're on our next slide.
Okay.
So we'll get there. And I'm laughing to myself because at every show, someone will say, but this person looks older than 15. Can they come on the show floor? So just to underscore, no matter how old they look. And I also want to mention, so if you registered before March 1st, just to sort of underscore this, your badge has already been mailed to you. So some of you joining us today may already have it in their hands. Others will get the badge in the mail in the next couple of days. So definitely make sure that you bring that badge with you. Otherwise, you will be subject to a reprint badge fee. So put a little note for yourself in your phone, put the badge in the purse right now, whatever you need to do, just make sure that you bring that. And also it's going to make registration fast and easy. It's done for you. You just grab that lanyard, as Elizabeth mentioned. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was going to say, if you don't get your badge by like the 20th, then give our registration assistance team a call or a quick email saying, hey, I have not got my badge yet, so they can make a note in your record. We do not have many problems. Most badges do get there. They might get there a little late, but they do arrive on time. I will throw the registration phone number and email into the chat before we end today. So you have that.
Perfect. Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay, yeah, so we'll move on. So there is another way to make that registration process even faster and easier, and that is to be a VIP or a premium pass holder. So we'll talk about that here.
Yeah, and I see, thank you, Moko, for the question on the student badges. The student badges, they'll be in student packets that need to be picked up on site on Tuesday. So if you need further directions on that, let us know. But in that lower concourse, we'll have a whole student area. So the primary point of contact will need to pick up their packets on Tuesday and get the wristbands for the students. So a little bit different process. Moving on to our VIP and premium pass holders. First of all, thank you if you invested in yourself. This is a wonderful program. Not only do you get a ton of education wrapped into these passes, but you also get a cool little swag bag. You will head down to that lower concourse and pick up your lanyards there along with your swag bag. So That's if you're coming into Crystal Palace, you're going to go down the stairs to the right if you're facing registration. Again, lower concourse, kind of where the taxis and I think the Ubers drop off there. And that is where your registration will be. There will be signage that says VIP Premium Pass holders check in here.
Awesome. And we will talk about ways to upgrade your badge to the VIP and Premium if that's something you want to do. And this QR code that you're seeing on your screens is an option for getting started with that. I also, Elizabeth, I dropped into the chat a link to the Registration Resource Center so you can upgrade badges there or just toy with your registration. And I also dropped in a link to register in case anyone joining us today is not yet registered. So let's move on and talk about the show app. That is another thing that can make the event smoother and help you get the most of your experience. Elizabeth, we'll stick with you. Thanks so much. Tell us about where to find that app and any other details we should know there.
Absolutely. So go ahead and take a picture of this QR code. I will suggest that if you have downloaded an app previously, in the last couple of years, go ahead and delete that app before you download this app. It'll just save on time and aggravation, right? So you can use this QR code. You can also go onto our website under the app, and all of the information is there, along with some tutorials on how to navigate the app, how to network on site using the app, how to access the classes. There's tons of information. So once you download the app, all you need is the same email that you use to register for your admission. We all use a lot of different emails, guys. So you got to remember which one you use to get your ticket. So use that email, create a password. You also need your badge number. Sorry, we're going to back up. You also need your badge number, which is on your confirmation, your show confirmation email, and then create a password. Please make sure to accept the notifications, because a lot of our vendors and the show management will be messaging things throughout the days on what's going on in certain areas on the show floor, possibly some things that you could win. So, please accept the notifications so you'll see what's transpiring each day of the show. And you can review the exhibitors there. You can search for education. Prices go up on site for education. So and there's a ton of classes that are selling out. You guys are all about consuming education, which is so cool. So really check out those classes that are available and upgrade to some of the paid classes if you so choose before you get on site. It's going to save you time and money. So on site, again, the pink tab is primarily those beauty classes. The kind of greenish blue tab is primarily the spa classes. You can add exhibitors to your interest list. Your agenda will be there. I love the pro tip of you must add the classes to your agenda. It's not automatic. It doesn't link to the registration site, right, Kelly? If you've purchased classes within the system, you have to actually input them into the app, correct?
In terms of putting them on your schedule, correct? Yes.
On your schedule. But you can also filter by what are the free classes, what are the paid classes. It's a slick little tool. We want to do a big shout out to Cosgram for being our app sponsor this year.
Awesome. Yes. Shout out to Cosgram for sure. And all right, so we'll keep moving along here. You're now on site. You've got your badge, you've got your lanyard, and you've downloaded the app. So let's talk about where to go. Forgive me, maybe we should have started with this because we've already referenced some different areas within the convention center, but here we are. So the image at the top of your screen is the Jacob Javits Convention Center. This is the view from 11th Avenue where you'll enter into the Crystal Palace. Can you figure out why it's called that? So the level where you enter is technically the third floor. Let's make it confusing. So the third floor is the ground floor, and you'll split your time between that level and the first floor where many of our classrooms are. So starting in the Crystal Palace, you'll find registration. From there, you can drop down kind of half a level to that lower concourse Elizabeth was referencing. That's where you'll grab your lanyards if you already have your badge. On the street level, just behind registration, is where you'll find the show floors. There are two show floors with two entrances, but don't worry, they meet up in the middle. You will wander between them seamlessly. You won't even know which show floor you're necessarily on, and you don't need to. They're huge, they're exciting. We'll talk a little bit more about what you can find in those in a moment. On this level as well, you're going to find your free spa classes. So we refer to those as product focused education, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But that's also behind registration, and to the left is those free classrooms for spa. And then on the show floor is where you're going to find our Powerhouse Pavilion, which is education we'll talk about in a moment, as well as our Glam and Go stage. So you want to earmark that, and you want to find those. If there's presentations you're excited about, which there will be in either of those locations, you just want to know where they are first to make sure that you navigate through that busy show floor and get there on time. Moving down to the first level. So obviously you're going to go from the third, second down to the first. This is where you're going to spend a lot of your time as well if you're interested in consuming education, which we know that you are. So you're going to find your paid classes on the first level. I'm kind of referring to that as the basement, but I promise you it's charming. So you'll find your IECSC conference classes there. You're going to find your beauty hands-on workshops, as well as your beauty master classes and your free education for IBS. And we'll talk a little bit more about those in a moment as well. So just keep in mind, and I'm actually going to show you the official maps, which, take these with a grain of salt. I kind of have them staggered on your screen because what is on the first floor is not exactly below what is on the third floor. So you're going to go down 2 levels and then over to the left to find those classrooms. But hopefully this is helpful. You'll have it in your mind using sort of this image, but once you get there, you're going to need to orient yourself. So take note of the map, but also just give yourself time to sort of to walk around. You want to find your classes early. You've invested in that education. You definitely want to give yourself, I would say, 20 minutes to find the classroom, especially if it's the first class that you're taking for the weekend. That'll just ensure that you get there, you scan your badge, and you find the seat and sort of get oriented. Okay. Elizabeth, did all that make sense?
I think all that makes sense. And it's so hard to look at these diagrams, right? You're like,
I know.
oh my gosh. But once you get on site, once you navigate around and you kind of get your lay of the land, it's pretty easy peasy. I think key is finding a back room restroom is always key.
Oh, notice I didn't put those on there.
Yeah, it's off the show floor, and they're hidden within the Javits, but you can find them. They're just a little bit more quiet. You don't have to wait so long in line.
That is such a pro tip.
And ask if you get lost, if you're running late, if you need help finding a room. Please tap into us, the registration assistance area. The security guards should be able to, assist you and kind of shooting you to the general right direction. So there's tons of people that are on site that are willing to help and assist. So don't stress out. We'll get you to where you need to go.
Yeah, don't stress out. Just make sure you give yourself enough time to get places, because we want to make sure you don't skip those classes or miss them, or any of the events on the stages. So as you're orienting, just give yourself some time. So I have talked about education sort of fringe here, but let's get a little more deep into the education. We'll start with the IECSC, or the SPA education. So as an IECSC badge holder, as any badge holder, you're going to have access to a variety of educational opportunities. So you will have access to the product-focused education. These are known as PFEs. You can think of them as exhibitor-led education. So speakers and representatives from your favorite brands on the show floor present free classes throughout the weekend. IECSC New York is going to feature more than 80 hours of free education. This is included, again, with your registration. That's over the 3 days. So this is such a great opportunity for you to meet brand representatives, learn about products, and get more in-depth training from your exhibiting brands. So Trust us, especially if you're new to attending a show like this, you are going to get really caught up on that show floor and try and purchase everything and see everything. And we want that. But we also want you to keep an eye on these free classes and make sure that you're taking advantage of those. They are first come, first served. So again, make sure you know where you're going and arrive early, especially if you think it's a session that's going to be really popular. In just a moment, I'll drop a link in to all of the free classes so you can review those, and they're in the app as well. So that's a great place to start scanning. You can add them to your schedule. That's not going to reserve you a seat, but that will help you, ping you and remind you to go to those classes. We also have the conference program. These are your paid classes. These classes are on that first level or that basement level. And this is our schedule of paid classes. They are curated for the show. They include what we consider to be some of the most important topics for growing your business and up-leveling your technical skills. I'm also going to drop that schedule into the chat in a moment, and I'll cover some of the classes on the next slide that are trending really well right now, just to give you a flavor of kind of what's hot, as well as so you know what's selling out, because we do have maybe like 5 to 8 sold out sessions already. And so I want to make sure you get a chance to get in those classes if you're interested. I just want to highlight that all badge holders also have access to free IBS classes. We'll talk about those in a moment. That includes more than 100 classes covering topics ranging from hair to nails to business foundations and more. Before we look at those classes, those conference classes, Elizabeth, talk to us for a minute. Oh, never mind. We'll get to the barbering in a moment. Hold tight. Okay, let's take a look at some of the conference classes. I'm not going to read this slide to you, but here's just sort of a snapshot of some of the conference classes that are selling a lot of tickets right now. And again, I'll drop a link in so you can look at all of those. And I'm also going to put up a QR code for you. If you have not added education to your badge, or maybe you've added one class, but you wish that you'd added 3, maybe you want to upgrade to premium or to VIP, we'll have a QR code for you in just a moment that you can scan, enter your badge number, and add classes today. Okay, that actually reminds me, I got a little news flash, Elizabeth. I don't know if you remember this, but we decided we were going to be really generous and give people a discount code on this event. So take note, if you use the code KBYG, and that stands for No Before You Go, not New Kids on the Block, KBYG20, that's going to give you 20% off your conference classes. So right now, classes are $60 in advance. If you use that code, it's going to drop them down to $48. Keeping in mind that on site, they'll be $70. So that's a $22 savings just because we're so happy you're with us today. Okay, let me move on and talk about IBS education quickly as well. Next time we present this, we'll just make it one slide because everyone has access to everything. So don't worry about what type of badge that you're holding. You'll have access to all of these things, but some of them were just curated more with hair in mind or spa or skincare in mind. So same experience. IBS, as I mentioned, offers more than 100 free classes on a broad range of topics. Those classes take place on the first floor of the convention center or on the Powerhouse Pavilion. So you're going to have access to that Powerhouse Pavilion as well as the Glam and Go stage, which is on the show floor. In terms of the conference programming, our colleague Natasha Bala curated an amazing conference program for this show. We have an incredible variety of hands-on workshops and master classes available to purchase. And in the next slide, I'll show you some of the artists that are joining us and highlight a few classes for you. But just like the spa conference classes, these are available for an additional fee, and that fee is going to go up on site. So you want to make sure you purchase these now. Also, for those hands-on workshops, there are tools you're going to want to bring so that you're prepared to take full advantage of that education. So the earlier you register, the more time you have to sort of pack a bag and make sure you're prepared. Master classes are also selling fast, and those are going to go up on site as well. The master classes are things like interactive cutting for curls and beyond with Presley Poe. We've got the ultimate social media playbook with Susan Bennett. These classes are 2 hours and they're in-depth, up close and personal with some of your favorite beauty professionals, influencers, and entrepreneurs. So here's some pictures for you, some class titles. These are a mix of those hands-on workshops as well as those master classes. And again, those prices are going to go up on site. But if you use that discount code that we just shared with you, KBYG20, you're going to get 20% off. Now, that discount won't last. Once you're on site, that is negated. So definitely purchase those in advance to both save with that discount code and make sure you get into those classes that are selling out. Whew. Oh, Elizabeth, and I skipped right by you. Sorry, I'm going to go back a slide really quickly so Elizabeth can talk about the barbering competitions that we have. Also, so exciting. And while she's doing that, I'll drop in some links for you so you can see some of those classes more in depth.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I also wanted to mention that that discount code does not apply to what's already been purchased. So that's just kind of like, that's for anything moving forward, and it does have a limited time on it. So take advantage if you have interest. As far as the barber competitions, we are super excited to be bringing those back this year. Many thanks to, they're powered by Level 3. They'll be on the beauty side of the show floor. And also thank you to Rolda, Coco, and Andis for being sponsors of the barber competition. So, hey, if you guys know of a barber that should compete, encourage them to connect with us. I think Natasha had put her email in the chat, but it's nbahalla, BHALLA at questex.com. Natasha, maybe you can throw it in the chat again. If you've got a barber that's interested, we have a couple of companies that have underwritten the price for those barbers to participate in this competition. So that's exciting news. So the fee should not hinder anyone. We can work with them. And we're looking for 22 strong competitors to be in our barber competition on Sunday afternoon. It's a 40-minute competition. It's a total look competition. It includes wardrobe, color, cut, and style. And the very exciting piece of it is the winner takes away $1,000 plus the champion's belt. All competitors will get a swag bag valued at over $100. So if you yourself are a barber or you know a barber, please let them know about this competition that's occurring on Sunday afternoon, and reach out to us if you have any questions or interest in registering. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I'm so excited we're bringing barbering back and that we're highlighting that this year. So I dropped some stuff. Thanks, Elizabeth. I dropped some stuff into the chat there, and maybe one of my colleagues had already done that, but links to free education. So you can review those classes, add them to your schedule, prepare yourself, put some little reminders in to get to those, as well as links to the paid conference program for IECSC, as well as the hands-on workshops and master classes, and that discount code. On your screen is a QR code that you can use as well to access your registration, whatever's easier for you. All right, so that was a lot. Thank you, everyone. We are wrapping up. We're nearing the end of our presentation. We just have a few more slides, so continue to drop those questions into the chat. We'll continue to answer those as we go through. Let's talk really quickly about another show floor experience. This is our Say Yes to You hub. And this is one of our activations that attendees absolutely love. So Elizabeth, what is going on there the weekend of IBS and IECSC New York?
Yeah, it's a little bit different this year. It's really the area that brings all of our brands together. IBS, IECSC, of course, are the trade show brands. But under our umbrella, we also have American Spa and American Salon magazines, as well as the Spa Industry Association. So I think a lot of people don't realize that all 5 of those brands are part of our wellness group. So we're just trying to kind of tie them together in this space. On Sunday and Monday, we have Saturday. On Sunday, Monday, little change. Sunday, Monday, we're going to be having free headshots. So head on over. The Say Yes to You lounge is on the IECSC show floor this year, so the spa side, and we'll be doing free headshots there. We have cute Instagrammable moments for you to take advantage of. You can be part of an American Salon magazine cover or American Spa magazine cover. And then we also have our ever popular ribbon kiosk. I couldn't believe it. You guys are into your flair. So cute things, and they're make it fun, right? We blew out of those ribbons, I think, the first day last year. So ordered more for this year. So head on over, grab a ribbon, network with some of your colleagues, and what also are encouraging you to vote in two competitions that both American Salon and American Spa are launching. So we'll have QR codes in that space as well as the cafe area, telling you a little bit more about those battles, and you can, do your judging via QR code. So great big shout out and thanks to Olaplex for sponsoring the headshot area for us this year. And again, it's just a place for relax, connection, and celebrate a little bit of self-care and have fun.
Awesome. Okay, those are really exciting. So what you're telling me though is my slide is a little off here. We will not have headshots on Saturday.
Yeah, stay home Saturday, but Sunday, Monday, we'll have headshots for you.
Definitely don't stay home.
Oh, no,
Just
yeah,
come back.
Saturday. No, Saturday. The show doesn't open till Sunday. Sunday, Monday,
Oh,
Tuesday.
that's a big error. Oh my
Yeah, they want to
gosh.
stay home Saturday.
Wow. Definitely stay home Saturday. Okay.
Saturday.
Well, the show floors are going to be massive. So, like the other activations on the show floor, definitely find the Say Yes to You hub. Make sure that you find your way over there, get yourself through the crowds. There's going to be so many deals and discounts that you're walking past, but we would love to see you there. And Elizabeth talked about how we have our brands represented there, which is a perfect transition because we have a dear friend and colleague with us. I think we do. I hope we do. Eileen Lowe, the editor for American Salon Magazine, is with us. And she's going to talk about our various social media accounts and why you should be following us and what we're up to there. So, Eileen, are you with us?
I am with you, Kelly.
Hey,
Kelly, I'm
hi.
always with you.
You're
Oh,
always with us.
I'm always with you, both on and offline,
And in spirit, always.
and in spirit always. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Eileen. I'm the editor at American Salon. I am jumping in today to remind you what Elizabeth just mentioned. Both of these events have media partners, and that means both events have two sources of show content each for you to enjoy, read, watch, share, and promote. On the beauty side, American Salon is the media partner, and on the spa side, it's American Spa. Instagram is going to be the main social platform for show content. So please do go follow the two brands that pertain to each event you're attending. So for beauty, the digital portals are americansalon.com and ibsnewyork.com. And their Instagram handles are at American_salon and IBS_shows. On the spa side, online, it's americanspa.com and IECSCNewYork.com. On Instagram, they can be found at American Spa Mag and at IECSC. Both of these industry media channels post event-related content all year round. Both feature speakers, educators, and exhibitors in feature articles and social media content throughout the year. So we're going to be there gathering a lot of content and really using that content to fill out the digital content for the year. So I highly recommend that you sign up for the newsletters for both publications so you can make sure you don't miss out on any of that content throughout the year. It's delivered to your inbox, and you can just kind of check up on it throughout the year for show content. You might be in it. So I think you'll be getting this deck after our call today. So you can directly click on the link that's there, or just go to the homepage of either publication, americansalon.com, americanspa.com, click on the subscribe button and sign up for whatever newsletters are relevant to you, so you do not miss that show content throughout the year. Finally, please, when you're at the show or even before or after, please do tag these accounts in any social media posts, stories, reels, so that we can circulate your content to our audiences. All four of these accounts on Instagram have lots of engaged followers. So please don't sleep on tagging us. That's American Salon and IBS shows. On the beauty side, American Spa Mag and IECSC New York an IECSC on the spa side. And you don't need to wait till the event begins to start tagging us. If you're posting pre-show content, make sure we see it so we can amplify your posts. So that is the quick and dirty about the event's digital and social media coverage and visibility. If you have any questions about those, please drop them in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Eileen.
Thanks, Kelly.
And so excited to hear from you. Thanks for joining us. And I know our attendees are looking forward to running into you at the show. You'll be there, obviously. So come meet Eileen. She'll be around and she'll be in that Say Yes To hub, as well as her counterpart, Nicole Altavilla, editor for American Spa. So they'll be roaming the show floor and engaging with you, and obviously are available online to connect with and share content. So thanks for that. We're going to move on. We're almost out of time. We're going to end in 5 minutes here. Before we do that, we'll make sure we continue to answer your questions. Please feel free to continue to drop those in the chat. No question is too small, so don't be shy. And we're going to put up our email addresses at the end here as well, so that you can connect with us if you think of stuff later. In the meantime, before we go, Elizabeth, I am resting on some of our sponsor logos here. Is there anything you want to share with everyone, or maybe just a general shout out thanking our sponsors?
Just a general shout out thanking our sponsors. Listen, we couldn't do this without our sponsors and these wonderful manufacturer and distributor partners that have supported the show throughout the years. Some of them are new, a lot of them are old friends. So please, if you're visiting their booth, give them a big shout out, say thank you. They're excited to be on the show floor for you. And so I just want to say many, many thanks to all of them for supporting our show.
Same. And I've just moved on, and now you're looking at some of the logos for IECSC, and we love our sponsors so much. So thank you for that. And we're just about out of time. We have a couple more minutes. If there's anything, Elizabeth, that you're seeing in the chat, Eileen, that you're seeing in the chat, Natasha, that you want to pose to us out loud here. I know busily people have been responding to questions, so hopefully you guys have gotten what you need. We've covered a lot. Here are our email addresses. So you are welcome to reach out to us. As I said, no question is too small. We want you to be comfortable and confident and excited for the show like we are. So please feel free. Elizabeth, am I missing anything? Is there anything you'd like to pose, or do you think we've covered it all?
Yeah, I think Natasha has done a great job at navigating the chat and answering all of the questions that keep coming through. If your question did not get answered, or you've got something specific to your your situation and you don't want to share it in the chat, whatever, we are here to help you. So please feel free to reach out to any of us. My email is Trevorrow, TREVORROW @questex.com. And we've also got all of our emails in the slide presentation that Kelly will be sending out later today. So feel free to reach out to any of us. Again, we're here to help support you. Our number one goal is for you guys to have an amazing time on site. And as you walk out the doors, hopefully on Tuesday afternoon, and the show floor closes, you're saying in your head, I can't wait to come back again next year. So that's our goal. And it's the feedback from you that we need to make it a really wonderful experience. So whether it's good, whether it's not so good, if there's things that you want us to think about addressing, please share those viewpoints with us. So valuable, your feedback.
Yes, absolutely. And keep in mind, our websites as well have a ton of information and an FAQ section. So please refer to the website as well and reach out to us. We cannot wait to see you so soon in New York. Travel safe, everyone. Take care.